selecting our samples. Get 6 samples for the big chems and 4 samples for the smaller chems. When you select the board for the samples, you try to get the sample out of the middle of the board. So that's going to be your wettest part of the board. So here's our board. I pulled it out the pack. It's an 8-foot long board. So let me get my sample. We got our sample cut. So now we have to cut off 2 little slivers off of each side so we can put them in the oven. We're going to use the bandsaw. Here's our 2 little slivers. See how thin they are? We don't want them too thick, but when we put them in the oven, they won't release all the moisture when we check them tomorrow. Alright, we got our 2 little slivers cut. And this is sample 1. And of course, you'll have 6 samples. We're using a large cam. This will be 6 samples, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we cut these from 1, so these would be 1A. We cut it, and this one would be 1B. And then when you cut the samples off of 2, it would be 2A, then 2B, 3A, 3B, and so forth and so on. So now we need our sample sheet out of this cabinet. It's the top drawer in the back. Looks like this. It says Dry Chem Sample Records. Turn our little scale on. Sometimes it's hard to come on. We're going to be using grams. So this is the unit button. We'll push it twice. That's grams. See where it says grams, only going to be showing 10. So remember our slabs we cut. We got to weigh, this one is 1A, 26 grams. So we look over here, we number these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We look for 1A. See it says A, and it's B. It's the green weight. That's the wet weight. So 1A was 26 grams. We'll remove that. 1B. 24 grams. We'll look for 1B. 24 grams. And then it's so forth, so on like that. Then you do the same thing with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we gotta measure we gotta weigh the board. We turn that on. Wait till it comes to 0. Here's our sample number 1. We set it on the scale. Comes out to 5.66. Right here it says sample green weight. That's our board. So we'll find number 1 right across from number 1. It was 566. 5.66. That's how much it weighs now. Now we'll take our sample slivers, put them in the oven. Now we have all 6 samples, you know, from all 6 boards that we're gonna get. We'll put them in the oven. Turn the oven on, right here. See how that lights come on? It says the power is on, the heat. The temperature is set at 275. We never mess with the temperature, so it should never change. But just in case somebody mess with it, it's set at 275. We let that stay in there overnight, and then the next morning we come in, we take all our samples out of the oven. This is for the video's sake, and we're gonna act like it's the next morning, and then we'll weigh them all again. That's 1A. We'll weigh them again. We're gonna say that came out to be let's say it's still 20. Let's say 20. And then our B, we'll weigh that one, and that one comes out to be 18. This is our formulas where it says calculating moisture content. These are formulas we use to determine how much moisture is in the board. Alright, we're gonna have to figure out, we're gonna try to figure out the average moisture content in our board. So we'll take the wet weight or the current weight. That's when we first cut it. That's how much it weighed. Divided by dry weight -1 times 100. So the green weight, the wet weight, green weight, or current weight. Green weight divided by dry weight. That's what we just got it out the oven, and it was 20. -1 times 100. So the green weight, use our calculator. The green weight is 26. 6 green weight divided by dry weight. Our dry weight is 20 divided by 20 -1 -1 divide 100. Or multiply by 100. Equals 30. So they saying that little sliver had 30% moisture content. So we do the next one. The green weight divided by dry weight. So we say the green weight is 24 divided by the dry weight is 18 -1 times 100. -1 times 100. That's 33.333333. So we just use the last 2 numbers behind the decimal. Since that's a 3, it'd be say 33. If it was a 5, that would be 34. So we say 33.33. Alright, now we got to find the average. The average between those two. And if you can remember when you was in school, finding the average is just 2 numbers added together divided by 2. So the average moisture content. So 30, you clear that out. 30 plus 33.33. 33.33 divide 2, which is 31.665. So remember that we're just gonna use the last two numbers. So we're gonna take that 5 and make that a 7. So 31.67. That's the average moisture content of our board. It's 31% wet. Now we got to figure out what that board should weigh when it's completely dry. So it says calculate sample oven dry weight. That's what we're trying to figure out how wet that board is going to be, or how dry that board is going to be. It says sample green weight divided by average moisture percent plus 100 times 100. Alright, sample green weight. Here's our sample green weight. Sample green weight. It's 5.66. So clear that out. 5.66 divided by average moisture percent plus 100. Don't forget that plus 100. That's very important. Plus 100. So we divide that 5.66, the sample green weight, to average moisture percent plus 100. So instead of 31.67, we'll add 100 to it. Plus 100 will make it 131.67. So when we add that 100, it becomes 131 instead of just 31. So that our sample green weight is 5.66. 5.66 divided into 131.67 times 100 times 100, which is 4.298. So we'll make that 30. 4.30. So our sample calculated oven dry weight is 430. So what they're saying is, when our sample number 1 is completely dry, it should weigh 4.30 pounds. It started off at 5 pounds, 66 ounces, and when it's dry, it should be 4.30 pounds. At the top of here, when you first get a new charge, each new chem, when they first load it, it's called a charge. I keep my charge sheet in here. It's in this book. Chem charges. Alright, this is chem number 1. You look down here, the last charge I did was 17. So I will scratch that 17 out and I will write 18. Don't scratch that 17 out until you got the old charge out, the old 17 charge out, and the new charge in. Then you scratch it out and put your 18. And then up here, just for Melissa to know what charge it is, you write charge 18. Chem, it was chem number 1. The species, the thickness first. The thickness was 8/4. The species of wood was poplar. The day we started it, the day they put it in the chem, was 12/9/16. And over here, when I figure out how many feet is in the chem, I usually just write it over here just for my reference. Whatever feet was in there, usually like 100,000 and some feet. Alright, and every morning you come in, you gotta check your chems and you gotta weigh out samples again. So this is the next morning. I come in, I cut my chems off, power button, I go in my chem, I get my sample out, I weigh it. Let's say this is let's say it came out 540. Because you know it hasn't been in the chem yet, but let's just say it came out as 540. I write the date 12/10. I write the weight of the board. It was 5.40. Now I got to figure out how much moisture we done lost. So I use my top formula. I'm trying the wet weight because the board is still wet, divided by my dry weight. This is my dry weight. This is what it's going to be when it's completely dry. -1 times 100. So this is my sample weight right now. It's 5.40. So I say 5.40. That's my wet weight. That's my wet board. It's wet. Divided by the dry weight. Divided by the dry weight, which is 4.30. Divided by 4.30. -1 times 100 times 100 equals, it's 25.581. So that just stay 58. So it's 25.58. So I write my 25.58 right there. So what it's saying is, we started off, the moisture content was 31 yesterday, and then when I came and weighed it again today, it's 25. 25.58. Yesterday it was 31.67. Then the next day you come in, it'd be 12/11. You'll weigh it and keep on doing it until you get it down to at least 8% or lower. Alright, when you first start in chem, you open this up, take this off, go to our cabinet. The second drawer is our charts. See what the chart looks like? It has the days of the week. See the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, and so on. Put it on here. Look for the first day. See, I'm lined up with the first day. Line it up with that line. We put our little thing on there. Stick it up in there all the way around. Close this back. Then we doing 8/4. Here's our 8/4 chart down here. keep them hanging up. There's the 4-quarter. Here's our 8-quarter. This is what the chart looked like. It says 6-quarter, but it's for 6-quarter and 8-quarter. So here's our chart, or what they call schedule. So we always started off kind of low. It says started off at 140 and 135. I always started off a little lower than that because we don't know what the moisture is in the board right now. So I always started off at around 120. And the wet bulb, this is the wet bulb, the red one. See the red one? That's the wet, that's the dry bulb, I'm sorry. That's the dry bulb. Here's the dry bulb. Here's the wet bulb. The green one is the wet bulb. These knobs over here, see it's red, is the dry. The way you remember is the red is heat. Then the green one is the wet bulb. So we're starting it off at 120. So I turn the knob so I can find 120. That's my dry. And my wet, I turn it to 110. And then the next day when I come in and I find out the moisture content, let's say we came in and it says it's at 40 or 35. It says it's at 35. Then I look at my chart or my schedule. Okay, I got 35% moisture content. My dry bulb, DB, should be at 140. My wet bulb, WB, should be at 121. So then I change my temperature. I come, the red one is the dry. I come, and it says 140. I put it up to 140. Then my wet bulb was at 121. So I put it at 121. And the chart up here, it works with these. Wherever you set these at, this is where this will be at. See, like on this one, this is a different chem. This is set at like 130.35. Look what it says, right at 135. This is set at like 125. 125. Right here, look up here, right about 125. Here's our monitor. We keep track of the boiler, the temperatures, the pressure. Right here where it says furnace, that's the temperature of the boiler. Right here it says pressure. That's the pressure of the water, you know. See, it gets up to around 112, 113, and then it go into what they call low fire hold, operational pressure hold. Right there, it'll start flashing soon, and it'll let the pressure come down a little bit. And over here is just, you can click on these. It's just how we control the air that's going into the boiler. See, it comes on. We can turn it up or turn it down. And here, where it controls the fuel, you turn it up. We really don't mess with it unless, like when we first starting up, we might want to turn the air up a little bit to get the fire going. But what we do every shift, especially right before we leave, in between shifts, you know, it's like maybe 2 hours on the weekday and 4 hours on the weekend. Sometimes it'll get too many defaults. It's a clear drive fault. Sometimes it get too many. You don't see where it says it get too many of them, but we'll clear them out. We just click on it. Just click on like 100 times. It don't really show you that you're doing anything, but just click on it about 100 times. Go to the next one. Click on it about 100 times. Go to the next one 100 times. The next one 100 times. Just the ones with these little circles. You see these circles right here? You see these circles? That one, that one, that one, that one. It induce, the overfire, underfire, and fuel. Those are the ones you gotta clear out the defaults. You can do it once or twice a shift, especially right before you leave, before the next man comes in because you don't want the boiler to shut down and it won't come back on in between shift, and then make everything mess up. The pressure will go way down, the temperature will go way down, and if it stays off too long, the fire will go out. All right, here's that operational pressure that I was talking about. See how it clicked on? The pressure, it cuts off around 113, 114, somewhere around there. Then it drop back down. We got it set to go back down to 93. Then it start building the pressure back up. Then when it get back down, when it get up to another 113, when it'll stop and cut down. And see how over here, this stuff stopped. It's not green anymore. So sometimes, like I was saying, sometimes it doesn't cut back on, even though it goes down. The pressure goes down to 93. This right here doesn't come back on because it has too many of those defaults in the drive. So that's why it's very important. Don't forget before you leave to clear it out. Or if you hear and you don't see this thing flashing, this operational pressure flashing, and it's look like this, that meaning that it didn't come back on when it went off like this. So you'll have to clear them all out, like they clear them all out, and then you have to cut them all off, and then cut them all back on, and it should comes back on, resets itself. If your screen ever start flashing low water 1 or low water 2, it's because your tank out there is not keeping up with your boiler. Your boiler is using more water than the tank and the pumps can push to it. I'll show you the tank I'm talking about. This is the tank I was talking about. Probably can't see it on the video, but it's a glass up there to let you know how much water is in there. Sometimes the boiler is using more water than this tank, and these pumps here, they can give it. Sometimes you have to go over here and see that lever up there, the top one. You take this pole, you open up the lever, boom, boom, boom. You go open it up, keep on hitting it to open up, and that's a bypass. It let the water bypass the system, and it pumps more water into the tank. One of the main reasons why this tank can't keep up with the boiler is if you turn one of the chems up too high, too fast, and then it's shooting all the water into the or all the steam into the chem, and it can't keep up with it. Another reason is if you're conditioning one and it's shooting all the steam into the chem. So what I do right before I condition one, I open that up. I let it open up for at least 5 minutes. Let the water fill up in the tank, then I condition it. And just don't forget to turn it back off, because it'll make the water too high, and that'll cause another problem. Alright, like once or twice a shift, you gotta rake out the ashes in the boiler. See how the furnace is up to like 1494. We try not to get it up too high, especially not over 1600 degrees. So we'll try to rake it out to allow more airflow to get into the boiler to help it cool down. What you do is you'll cut off your induced draft, over fire, under fire, your FRV stoker, and your fuel. Don't do it without some gloves on, some thick gloves, not no little small gloves. You'll burn your hands up. You get these thick gloves out of the drawer. You see how it looks inside? I don't know if you can really tell while burning my phone up. You see how it looks? There's some vents in there, and it got ash all over the vents. So you want to clean those vents off, for the air can flow more to help the boiler cool down. take your rake. I like to use the smaller one, but if you gotta go way in the back, we got the longer rakes. Take your rake, break off the vent. Do the other side. Do the other side the same way. After you got the boiler raked out, don't forget to come back over here and turn everything back on. Alright, once you shift, you're supposed to blow down the boiler. All it is draining some of that water out the tank up there. It's supposed to help with the conductivity, keeping it kind of low. I don't know exactly what it does with the conductivity, but I know I'm supposed to keep it low, so that's why I do it. And also, when the steam goes to the chems, the water's supposed to return, and sometimes if it has rust in the pipes, it'll return that rust to the tank up there. So we'll try to blow that out as well. So what you do is, you come over here, watch your step. You open up this valve. You don't have to open it all the way. I usually open it about 25 turns or so. You get it kind of open. 25 turns, just keep them going. Then you come over here. They got 5 levers you got to use. You got 1. Then they'll blow it out. Then you got 2. I usually let it stay for like 20 seconds. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now I close it. You walk around here. You got another one right here. Same thing, 20 seconds, you know, count to 20 real fast. Close it. Over here, front of the boiler, this is where the doors are at. Front of the boiler, you got one right here, you open it. You got one over here, same thing, 20 seconds, close them. This is how it look when it's coming out. There's water come out the bottom. Steam will come out the top. After you finish blowing it down, don't forget to come back over here and turn that valve back off. Like once or twice a week, we gotta check our chemicals in our water. We use chemicals to stop our pipes from rusting. So here's your chemical sheet. Tells you all the different chemical numbers up here. There's 4 different barrels of chemicals. Here's your little cup that we use to get our water sample. All down here is your tests, your chemical tests. I'm not gonna go in real detail about it. The instructions on how to do it is in each of your tests. So you just open it up and follow the instructions on how to sample your water for the chemicals. You get your sample for your water out of the boiler. You come over here. Here's your knob. Turn it on. Let the water in that pipe drain out and we can actually get water from the boiler. When you see it doing that, you know we got our water right. Turn it down a little bit. Fill up your cup. About half full is all you need. Cut it off. Come back over here to your desk. We check our conductivity with this machine here. Turn the power on. Wait till it go to zeros. Stick it in the water. It's right at 1.9. So we'll add a zero to it. See up here, they got it in I guess that would be thousands. So it was 1.9. So we'll put 1.900. And the conductivity is supposed to be between 3,000 to 4,000. See, we're kind of low because when you condition a chem, sometimes it bring that conductivity down. So we're kind of low. So when it's low like that, you might not want to blow down your system that day. You might wait till the next day to blow it down. Here's all your chemicals. See the numbers on the barrel. That's the same numbers was on your clipboard over there telling you which chemicals. So when you do your test, if one is reading low or one is reading high, you'll go and you'll follow the cord and see which one is that. And then if it's high or low, either you turn it up to increase the chemical, or you turn the pumps down to decrease it. Sometimes it'll lose its pressure and it won't pump. So if you see these lines, when it comes on to pump it and it's not really jumping, especially when the chemical is out and you got to change the barrel, it'll lose its pressure. You got to prime it. You come right here, you pull it and then turn it, and that allows it to build up its pressure again. And you got to prime it. And then after you finish priming it, don't forget to turn it back off, because if you don't turn it back off, it'll keep priming. Instead of going up to the system, it'll come out this hose right here and it'll go all over the floor. I keep talking about conditioning. This is what I mean when you got to condition it. When you get all your samples below 8%, you got to add a little moisture. You try to add between 1 to 1.5% moisture. If you don't, when a customer goes to cut the wood, it'll pinch. It'll look like when they go cutting it, it'll look like that. It'll pinch like that. We want that wood, when they cut it, they want it to be straight like that. So how you condition it, you gotta let the chem cool down. You turn off your dry bulb as well as your wet bulb. And you let your dry bulb get down to 130. So you turn your bulbs off. You turn your wet bulb, your dry bulb completely off. You open both doors and let it cool down. The dry bulb cool down to like 130. After your dry bulb is cooled down to 130, we condition it. You leave your dry bulb completely off and turn your wet bulb on 147. I just rounded off. I turn it on 150. So you leave your dry bulb completely off. You turn your wet bulb to 150. You close the doors. Then you find whatever chem you're working on. This is chem number 2. So you'll find number 2. There's number 2. All of them got numbers on them. And you'll turn your steam on. That's your steam valve. You'll turn your steam valve on. If you was doing number 4, all of them has numbers. It usually takes around 2 to 3 hours to get that 1 to 1.5% that you're looking for. So after you think you might have it, you go weigh your samples again, And if it's saying that it's where you want it at, your charge is complete. You go back, you'll turn your wet bulb, your dry bulb completely off. You open it up, get your chart out. You go and ask somebody to help you open the chem doors, the large chem doors, and you just let it cool off. And you inform the forklift driver is ready to be unloaded.